Conspiracy Theories from Politics to Paranoia, Week 3, Page 1. An Introduction to Week 3, performed by Brody Mulligan, if you can call it that. Welcome to Week 3. In Week 3, we look at the concepts of fame and celebrity. We do not tend to formulate conspiracy theories around the ordinary people. For the most part, conspiracy theories are about very famous people. The royals, politicians, leaders, movie stars, and pop stars of our culture. In Week 3's module, we try to understand the psychological reasons why people in our culture, indeed people of all civilizations, are obsessed with these famous people and celebrities. It becomes clear that our preoccupation with fame has a great deal to do with basic psychological and anthropological attachments of the human psyche. Since the beginning of our lives, we look for guidance and leadership to those we consider superior to us, our parents, our teachers, and our community leaders. And since the beginning of humanity, human beings have revered those in the community who were considered to be the movers and the shakers. It seems that celebrity worship is a natural, albeit at times dysfunctional, tendency of the human. And here is a link to Fame 90, composed by David Bowie, Alomar and Lemon. Fame, 1975. Page 2. What is a celebrity? For fun, watch Brad Paisley's video, Celebrity. I'm not going to do that. What is celebrity? My fans are imbeciles, boring little nobodies, pathetic people with no life of their own. Kim Kardashian. You can have no talent, no ambition, and you win all the time. All the young people dream of that. Young girls dream of becoming models. Celebrity is the new religion. Martin Amis. Celebrity worship is not all bad, idolizing or admiring someone for their accomplishments, and then pushing yourself to excel in the same way are positive elements. But we are worshiping celebrities for the sake of being famous. But are we worshiping celebrities for the sake of being famous, or are we worshiping true heroes? Interestingly, participants in one study had similar measures of both heroes and celebrities. True heroes are people like our military men and women, our police officers and firefighters, our teachers and paramedics, and our mothers and fathers. These are the men and women who will stand the test of time and truly leave their mark on the world, unlike the athletes, movie stars, and singers who will fade into obscurity if we confuse heroes and celebrities. We deprive ourselves of real role models. Should we admire those who are famous because they are great? Not those who seem great because they are famous. Gibson, 2008. It is difficult to begin a detailed analysis of conspiracy theories without first offering an analysis of fame, celebrity, authority, and power. If you take a look at most conspiracy theories, the one thing that they seem to have in common is that they are not about common folk like us at all. Most conspiracy theories are about the extraordinary, famous people: JFK, Marilyn Manson, Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson, or Tupac. Or sometimes very powerful, and some say infamous, people about whom we know very little: the Masons, Bilderbergers, Opus Dei, the Vatican, the Pope. The Wiki offers the following definition of celebrity. Celebrity. A celebrity, sometimes referred to as a celeb in popular culture, is a person who is easily recognized in our society or culture. Generally speaking, a celebrity is someone who gets media attention and shows an extroverted personality. There is a wide range of ways by which people may become celebrities, from their profession, appearances in the mass media, or even by complete accident or infamy. Instant celebrity is a term that is used when someone becomes a celebrity in a very short period of time. In some places, someone that somehow achieves a small amount of transient fame through hype or mass media is stereotyped as a B-grade celebrity. Often, the stereotype extends to someone that falls short of mainstream or persistent fame, but seeks to extend or exploit it. In the 21st century, the insatiable public fascination for celebrities and demand for celebrity gossip has seen the rise of gossip columnists, tabloids, paparazzi, and celebrity blogging. The rise of international celebrities in acting and popular music is due, in large part, to the massive scope and scale of the media industries, enabling celebrities to be viewed more often and in more places. Thus, as Clive James asserted, which defines fame as a general societal phenomenon, appears to be largely based on the degree to which a person is seen in the media. The more a person can be seen on television, cinema, and the internet, the more we value, as a society, assign to that person. Page 3. Week 3. Conspiracy theories. Celebrity worship. Why do we care about the personal lives of people we've never met? Social psychologists agree that the reasons are complex, but some issues seem to reoccur. One is that we're bored and living through movie stars as a way of alleviating that boredom. Another is that we're searching for identity. Social fragmentation may also play a part, as family and community values are crushed by the cult of individualism and an omnipresent media. Perhaps fantasy relationships are becoming easier to form than real ones. Harrison, 2006. In Western culture, we are obsessed with the activities of famous people. Quote, in 2003, New Scientist magazine reported that 1/3 of Americans were suffering from something called celebrity worship syndrome, which it abbreviated to CWS. As the journalists said, the proportion of the population affected by CWS seems to be continuing to rise. Harrison, 2006. Some have suggested that the obsession that many older nations have with royalty is something that we actually long for here but do not have. Thus, we have transferred this age-old preoccupation onto Hollywood stars, billionaires, CEOs, politicians, and so on. Quote, much research has been conducted about who engages in celebrity worship and what drives the compulsion. Celebrity worship, for purely entertainment purposes, likely reflects an extroverted personality that is more likely a healthy pastime for most people. This type of celebrity worship involves harmless behaviors such as reading and learning about a celebrity. Intense personal attitudes towards celebrities, however, reflect traits of neuroticism. The most extreme descriptions of celebrity worship exhibit borderline pathological behaviors and traits of psychoticism. This type of celebrity worship may involve empathy with a celebrity's failures and successes, obsessions with the details of celebrity's life, and over-identification with the celebrity. Gibson, 2008. Quote, humans at the core are social beings, and research has shown that the less connected people feel, the more they turn to celebrities, said Adam Galinsky, an expert in ethics and social psychology and a professor of the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. It is a very adaptive and functional behavior, Lucas added, however, that while worshipping the rich and famous is harmless in itself, it could be perceived as symptomatic of a rootless culture in which many people feel a sense of isolation. What we know of them, celebrities, through People magazine and other media sources fills a gaping and painful void in our lives, Lucas said. The dwindling influence of religion adds to that sense of yearning in people, he added. Making the stars' exploits and eccentricities, their loves, and their losses more than a form of entertainment. Religion is faltering, and in the process, people are grappling with the infantile wishes. with magical thinking, he said. Steele, 2009. It appears, then, that human beings have an automatic response, whether healthy or neurotic, whether religious or adaptive. When it comes to authority figures, in one way or another, most human beings show reverence for people whom they assume to be superior, in some real or imagined ways, to themselves. Is this deference to those above us an innate, genetically determined response or a culturally learned response, nature or nurture? And when taken to the extreme in a culture of celebrity worship, what point does it become unhealthy and self-destructive? Quote, scientists have only recently defined the psychological phenomena of celebrity worship as a type, a parasocial relationship that can have unhealthy and addictive elements. Celebrity worship is associated with poorer mental health, illustrated by characteristics of neuroticism and disengagement. Some studies have pointed out that people with poor mental health are more prone to extreme celebrity worship, while others conclude that depression, anxiety, and decreased self-esteem develop from unhealthy celebrity worship. Several studies have also demonstrated that a connection between celebrity worship and drug and alcohol use, smoking, and eating disorders. Oh, I know this one. Maybe not. Yet another study concluded that celebrity worship involves a psychological model based on absorption, which leads to delusions of actual relationships with celebrities and addiction, which leads to a progressively stronger need to feel connected with a celebrity. Gibson, 2008. Page 4. Conspiracy theories. Week 3, Nature or Nurture. They have a video here. Number 1, Nature versus Nurture, Sci 101. I won't be watching that. What does the psychological term nature versus nurture mean? Check out this Psych YouTube above. Are we hardwired to worship celebs, or is it something we learn over time? Psychoanalyst Sigmund Freud asserted that all relationships that rely upon reverence for societal figures whom we perceive to be above us are actually recreations of our familial relationships. In other words, we feel a need to continue in our adult lives to have people above us whom we deem to be superior or dominant. In this manner, we can guarantee that we will have a surrogate or an ersatz parent in full view throughout our lives. See Father Complex, Repetition Compulsion, in Freud's Totem and Taboo. He wrote extensively about reverence for kings, queens, holy men, even celebrated people. He asserted that this is a universal in human societies. There are few places on the planet where humans do not organize themselves according to a hierarchy of importance. Although the criteria for that which is deemed to be important varies from society to society. Here in Western society, we revere people with wealth, beauty, and power, although the standard for measurement appear to be relatively arbitrary, as history proves when quantifying the latter two categories. With regards to celebrity worship, the second psychoanalytical concept worth exploring is called transference. In the psychoanalytic process, this is the phenomenon by which the analysand transfers feelings that she feels for parents and family members onto the analyst. This is an essential part of psychoanalysis. It allows the analysand to work through feelings, both negative and positive, by transferring these onto the psychoanalyst. Quote, the patient is not satisfied with regards to the analyst in the light of reality as a helper and advisor who, moreover, is remunerated for the trouble he takes and who would himself be content with some such role that as that of a guide on a difficult mountain climb. On the contrary, the patient sees in him the return, the reincarnation of some important figure out of his childhood or past. and consequently transfers onto him feelings and reactions which undoubtedly applied in this prototype. This fact of transference soon proves that to be a factor of undreamt of importance. On the one hand, an instrument of irreplaceable value, and on the other hand, a source of serious dangers. This transference is ambivalent. It comprises positive, affectionate, as well as negative, hostile attitudes towards the analyst, who, as a result, is put in the place of one of the other, of the patient's parents, his father or his mother. Freud, An Outline of Psychoanalysis, 1998. And I'll link to it. Notably, for our purposes, transference doesn't occur only in the psychoanalytic sense, but may occur in day-to-day transactions and relationships with others. When transference is neurotically or pathologically, a neurotic person may go through life transferring both negative and positive feelings toward parents and family members onto total strangers, bosses, authority figures, and any other individual whom the subject views unconsciously as a substitute parent or family figure. Quote, only in a personally or socially harmful context can transference be described as a pathological issue. A modern social cognitive perspective on transference uncovered by Dr. Susan Anderson at New York University explains how it occurs in everyday life. When we encounter a person who reminds us of someone whom we do or did like, and who is or was important to us, we infer, unconsciously, that this person is indeed our significant other, whether a lover, friend, relative, or other person. Myriad effects arise from this, including inferring that traits belong to the new person that in fact belong to our significant other. This perspective has generated a wealth of research that illuminated how we tend to repeat relationship patterns from the past in the present. Transference. Wiki. It is easy to see how the neurotic individual might see a famous person, politicians, popular culture icons as authority figures who might serve as ersatz parents, and then transfer childhood feelings of both reverence and hostility onto these celebrities. Nature theorists like psychological Stuart Fishoff believe we are wired to respect our celebrities. Fishoff, who has academically studied the cult of celebrity, says the very need to find an idol and follow him is programmed into our DNA. What's in our DNA as a social animal is the interest in looking at alpha males and females, the ones who are important in the pack, says Fishoff. We are sociologically pre-programmed to follow the leader, he says, and notes that we are biochemically sitting ducks for the Hollywood star system. Even the stars themselves get caught up in the mystique. I know celebrities that are starstruck by other celebrities. Even major politicians are more likely to sit up and take notice of an issue when a celebrity is doing the talking. So this is clearly something that really is in our DNA, says Fishoff. CBS News, 2006. Thus, initially, according to Fishoff, respect for authority figures and the alpha individuals in packs, tribes, or clans served as a survival technique by paying appropriate homage to group leaders. Early humans could expect to endure and not be eliminated. Respect for authority figures then was a positive evolutionary trait. Today, as Fishoff describes, such a trait is not essential, except, of course, insofar as obeying lawmakers and elected officials is a wise behavioral trait. So our hardwired respect for celebrity is neurophysiological speaking. Archaic and obsolete, sitting ducks indeed. Conspiracy theories. Week 4, Week 3, page 5. Anthropomorphism. There's a picture here of a bear in a suit. It's a panda bear. If we combine all these human psychical tendencies with the idea that humans are designed to be at least quasi-religious, if not highly spiritual creatures, we have all the parameters at our disposal for understanding human reverence for higher beings and superior icons. Quote, Stuart Guthrie, an anthropologist at Fordham University in New York, is in the explain it away camp of researchers, noting the plethora of gods that populate the world's religions, many with minds and emotions similar to our own. Guthrie argues that the belief in supernatural beings is a result of an illusion that arises from our tendency to project human qualities onto the world. Religion may be best understood as a systematic anthropomorphism. He writes in his book, Faces in the Clouds, anthropomorphism is an adaptive trait that enhances our ancestors' chances of survival. He adds, if a Neanderthal mistook a tree creaking outside his cave for a human assailant, he suffered no adverse consequences beyond a moment's panic. If the Neanderthal made the opposite error, mistaking an assailant for a tree, the consequences might have been dire. In other words, better safe than sorry. Over millennia, as natural selection bolstered our unconscious anthropomorphic tendencies, they reached beyond specific objects and events to encompass all of nature, goes Guthrie's theory. Until we persuaded ourselves that the entire world of our experience is merely a show staged by some master dramatist. Horgan, 2006. It is likely, then, that Fishoff's celebrity worship as a survival technique, the notions of animism and anthropomorphism, ensure longevity for early humans and hence become part of our writing. We want to personify even that which is not a person. Under the psychical circumstances, even ordinary things become human. Read Horgan, 2006. The God Experiments. I'm not going to do that. Conspiracy Theories, Week 3, Page 6. Attribution and Externalization. I have a picture of screaming girls in purple. Whether by nature or nurture, hand in hand with reverence for our superiors goes a proportionate mistrust and disrespect by many. Why do conspiracy theorists suspect that famous and powerful people are plotting away, planning our futures without sharing these plans with us? As discussed in Week 1, this may be in no small part as a result of the vast substantiated evidence that over time many famous and powerful leaders and celebrities have actually been kept the truth from their followers. Ultimately, then, it is not surprising, then, that conspiracy theorists which are based on mistrust for those who control our lives or the lives of others have as their subject matter primarily famous people, because famous people are valuable, and by default, non-famous people are not valued. We are particularly interested in the minute details of their lives, their fortunes, their sexuality, their indiscretions, and ultimately their demises and deaths. Still, experts in the psychology of celebrity worship suggest that there may be propensity among those with low self-esteem to believe that worldly experience is entirely outside of their control. An attribution style that is based on externalization. Quote, entertainment social celebrity worship, arguably the most normal form, and appears to have no implications of attributional style or self-esteem. Intense personal celebrity worship was related to positive self-esteem, but also to a propensity towards stable and global attributions. However, borderline pathological celebrity worship, arguably the most disordered form, was related to external, stable, and global attributional styles, and was close to being associated negatively with self-esteem. North, 2007. Quote, This suggests that people with the most extreme celebrity worship engage in an attributional style that believes the cause of most events in the person's life are external, that is, they are outside the control of the person experiencing the event. People who have stable lives, global attribution, share such an attribution style with people who are depressed, so people who have the most extreme celebrity worship look to the outside world for explanations, and believe celebrities might hold a piece of the cure. Grohl, 2008. North and Grohl's analyses are not surprising, vis-a-vis conspiracy theories. Ooh. Although not determined, it is likely that there may also be a correlation between the attributional externalizing personality and the kind of personality that might manufacture, without substantial evidence, random theories about powerful people. Conspiracy theories. Week 3, page 7. The New Religion. I have a selfie of Justin Bieber in front of his fans. Quote, "Perhaps fame is the new religion and celebrities our gods. When John Lennon said the Beatles were more popular than Jesus, perhaps he was on to something. After all, throughout history and across cultures, people have always worshipped idols. With all its myth, ritual, and power to immortalize, celebrities could well be filling a similar cultural niche. Psychological research lends some weight to this theory. Psychologist John Maltby and his colleagues have found that more a person subscribes to a formal, institutionalized religion, the less likely they are to worship a celebrity." Chris Rojek, professor of sociology and culture at Britain's Nottingham Trent University and author of Celebrity, describes that the religious overtones are as pretty obvious. Harrison, 2006. A number of psychologists have argued that in lieu of an actual religion, religiosity with respect to the society's alpha people may indeed be a survival technique or social defense mechanism, an artifact from primitive times. Psychologist James Huron goes so far as to suggest that maybe there is a worship trait in all of us, as human beings were hardwired to worship something. It may all go back to the savannas of Africa, sometime in the Pleistocene between 500,000 and 1.8 million years ago. According to evolutionary biologists, far from being a nasty epidemic, aspects of celebrity worship behavior may be among the smartest things that we as a species can do. Hundreds of thousands of years ago, there was a much stronger evolutionary advantage to knowing who was an enemy and who was a friend. Back then, an enemy was less inclined to, say, let the air out of your tires than, for example, run you through with a spear. So gossip in those days was a matter of life and death. It was a means of reinforcing social bonds while keeping track of who could be trusted. Anyone with a familiar face had to live nearby, so they were the ones worth keeping tabs on. A cave painting has given way to more pervasive media, including print, television, film, and the internet. Faces have been delivered, transmitted, and downloaded onto our living rooms from all around the globe. Familiarity is no longer a sure sign of proximity, but our neural hardwiring has been slow to catch up. So on some innate level, we might feel as if the neighbors we watch on television are actually our own. Harrison, 2006. Conspiracy Theories, Week 3, page 8. Relevance. Why must we, as analysts of conspiracy theories, care about the psychology of fame and the celebrity worship? Because it is likely that many notions conceived by neurotic people concerning the rich and famous, the politicians, and the royals are nothing more than projections, externalizations of things that are felt in moments of low self-esteem and psychic conflict. Analyzing the behaviors, presentations, and general demeanor of conspiracy theorists must then all be fair game in our analyses. Does the conspiracy theorist being studied appear rational, stable, and articulate? How much of what he says about a given famous person or group of people is actually negative or positive manifestations of the conspiracy theorist's inner fantasies, anxieties, or paranoid delusions? Click here for an appropriate music soundbite to accompany the moment. Hilarious. Definitions. Page 9. Celebrity worship, celebrity, infamy, John F. Kennedy, Marilyn Monroe, death of Marilyn Monroe, Michael Jackson, Tupac Shakur, Masons, Bilderberg Group, Opus Dei, the Vatican, extroversion and introversion, infamy, transients, gossip, tabloid, paparazzi, Clive James, neurosis, pathology, psychosis, identification, adaptation, magical thinking, addiction, depression, anxiety, self-esteem, delusion, delusional disorder, nature versus nurture, Sigmund Freud, ersatz, father complex, repetition complex, compulsion, totem and taboo, transference, Stuart Fishoff, DNA, attribution, anxiety disorder, paranoia. Thank you for listening.